The conversation today, we are participating in a conversation that is happening around the world, and it's been titled Climate in Crisis. There are protests going on in countries around the world, mainly London, the United States, and everyone is paying attention to what's going on around the world, the global warming and what's happening with our climate, what's happening with the earth we call home. I mean, you realize really that there is no other place that we have to go, and we have to make some moves and make it quickly, particularly in the wake of, and I think this really has everyone's attention, in the wake of a storm like Hurricane Dorian. Everyone now is saying, wait a minute, let's slow down a little bit. What is it that we must do, have to do, and what is it we must stop doing? My guest today, Rebecca Yor, she is here with a group called Rescue Global, and they are here from the UK to lend a helping hand. Also, she is a PhD student who has been studying the environment and doing a number of things with the environment, particularly in Dominica after, which hurricane was that, Rebecca?
After Maria in 2017.
Maria, I remember when they were hit so hard, I do remember that. And then of course, Diane Phillips is here as well, who is concerned as any other Bahamian is, about and world citizen about what's happening with our world. What are some of the habits that we have, Rebecca, engaged in and just perhaps carelessly that have landed us here?
That's a very good question, and I think that's very difficult to answer. Really, I think it's just over time, I think we've become more aware of how we can help by doing our own little thing. I think that's one of the biggest...
also think, though, one of the things is progress.
Yeah.
How do cutting down trees affect the climate? And what is it that we're doing?
And that's the thing. And I think that's when we see those big effects on those grand scales. So we see swathes of the Amazon being cut down, and we think
and on fire. Is it it's so scary when you hear that.
But we think, what can I do as an individual about that? This is way beyond my control. But actually, I think what we've been good at doing recently in more modern times is being able to understand why that's happening, and looking at how the individual consumer and the individual citizen can make a difference in their own lives that adds up to the greater effort. And I think that's the key to doing it. We might not be able to control big business that is often the driver of these impacts.
Yeah, but the scary thing is the habits of big business is, I'm certain, somehow contributing to what we're seeing.
Oh, it is. But I think as citizens who can't directly influence that, I think our daily habits are what we can really have a big impact on. If we understand why rainforests are being cut down, why these destructive habits are happening, why our oceans are being overfished, we can make simple choices in our own lives to not buy certain products that contain palm oil, for example, or any product that is contributing towards the destruction of our earth.
Well, I love that. Give us a run through of certain things that we need to stop now purchasing. I know the list is exhaustive, but just one or two things that are habits and people hold on very near and dear to, but should understand exactly how destructive it is.
Well, I think that's up to the individual person as well, because that changes in each different country. So those of us who decide to cut certain things out of our diets, I don't want to tell people what to do.
No, please, no, say it. It's up to the individual to decide whether or not they will do it.
But I think you should be more aware as a person of what you're eating, and look on a food packet, read a bit of news, understand that what it is, what food items, what consumables, toiletries are contributing towards poisoning the earth, towards some of these impacts, and make that decision based on what I think that there needs to be more individual level awareness. I mean, it's not necessarily down to people just saying don't eat this or
don't use
that. I think you need to have a personal incentive to not do it, and you need to make.
But this is the incentive now. But I'll tell you, Rebecca, the reason I go 101, English 101 in college,
Yeah.
because people need to know. Sometimes people don't know.
Yeah.
And if
I
you
know,
can
I know.
if you can provide examples, it's up to everybody to make their own decision. But examples are key. And Diane, oftentimes, in our country, we feel being clean unless we're using this or we're using that because it smells good and it leaves a fresh scent. And someone mentioned, who is this? Anne Williams, who is somewhere in the Caribbean. I forgot where she is. She says car emissions is a major problem that affects the ozone layer.
Well, the destruction of the ozone, a partial destruction of the ozone layer, is the single largest contributing factor to climate change. And that's why we've had such a dramatic increase in the destruction of our environment in the last 35 years. More so than the rest of the history of, as long as man has walked the earth, and probably the dinosaurs and whatever came before the dinosaurs. But we've done more damage in 35 years than all that time before. And car emissions, carbon emissions are part of the problem, but so is that aerosol spray can. If you used hairspray today and you didn't use a pump, you used aerosol, that aerosol actually helps destroy the ozone layer. So that's a single product. The microfiber.
Do people still use those hairsprays though? I remember years ago they were very popular in hair salons. I
don't know how many aerosols still exist. As far as cleaning goods, we clean almost everything in our house with vinegar. Clear white vinegar.
Let me tell you, vinegar is an amazing cleaning agent.
Isn't it?
And is it harmful? No, obviously not.
No, it's natural.
It's a natural thing.
Yeah. So whenever you have a nature-based, we actually have an exterminating company, because unfortunately we have a neighbor who doesn't clean his yard as often as he should, and so we have a little issue. And plus we live in the tropics. We have an exterminating company that only uses plant-based extermination ingredients. So you can make your choices. Everything that we do in our little household, we try to do with a conscience about what's in this packet. And so if you use certain cosmetics and they have these little tiny microplastics in them, that's almost worse than large plastic. And you don't know what it's in. It's in lots of cosmetic products.
One thing that I didn't realise you guys were doing here was trying to be plastic free by January 2020.
Yes, we are.
I didn't know that until I arrived.
So you commend us for this, right, Rebecca?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great effort because I think look at the concentration now on plastic in oceans. It's a huge issue, and there's loads of awareness about it.
And if you had ever seen
the kind of thing on a national level that we need to be doing.
Yeah, here is Charmaine Francis. And she says, good afternoon, Shenique. Great show. We must all begin to look at what we can do individually to protect our environment. I am in Grand Bahama now, and I am asking persons to save their empty plastic bottles, and I will come by to collect them. And by the way, if you want to collect, that's a good thing, because I think we're also doing away with plastic bottles as well, eh?
Right. Well, the only plastics that we can do away with realistically, because in some ways plastic is a remarkable find, but single-use plastic. So let's make a big distinction between plastic and single-use plastics. Plastics are in everything. They're in your cell phone. They're in your computer. They're in this phone that's blinking right here. We are a plastic dependent country. We're a plastic dependent world, unfortunately. We're not going to get away from that, but we can do a lot to save the planet by eliminating single-use plastics.
And explain that. That's plastic that you would go
use one time. So the plastic straw, you're not going to use a plastic straw again. But there are now other materials that you come out where you just rinse the straw, you put it back in your bag in an attractive holder, you pull out that same straw, you use it again for the next time. Just make sure you rinse it, because you don't want the iced tea to blend with the smoothie that you had before. With Jethro Smith, I said, can we send Shenique to Nashville, Tennessee to interview Al Gore?
Jethro, I'm ready.
And we're going in the next hour, Shenique, with your permission. I want to call Joe Darville. I kind of set this up ahead of time. I hope
Joe
that's
Darville.
it. Yeah, Joe is the director of Save the Base. Well, he's the chairman of Save the Base, but he trained under Al Gore. And he was out at Gold Rock Beach yesterday with a team from a New York publication and showing them where everything had washed away. He's so knowledgeable, but Joe Darville was with Al Gore when they were doing the training, and they were actually in Florida. And when they went to South Beach, Miami Beach, and it wasn't even high tide, and it wasn't full moon, they were walking and water was coming up through the sidewalk.
We are going to go to the phone lines now. Mr. Smith, are you still holding? Are you still there, Mr. Smith? Hi, Mr. Smith, are you still holding? Okay, we are going to take a break and come back with more of the conversation. By the way, I will totally open the lines. In fact, I can give the numbers now, and you can participate, and then it'll be open fully after 5. 325-5403, 325-5404, 325-5405. Family Islanders, or you want to call toll free from wherever you are, 1242-300-8255. Ann Williams in the U.S. Virgin Islands says plastic straws are banned in U.S. Virgin Islands. We now use paper straws. Very good.
Right.
Everybody's doing their a little bit.
So you're going to put in a plug for Royal Caribbean. They've been plastic free and straw free for about 6 months.
Awesome. Stay exactly where you are. The conversation comes back right after this.